Oh, my nose. I can hear it.
It's whistling.
I think there's something in there.
You do a line before you go?
No! A booger, Alec! Oh my God. A booger!
What did he say?
Booger sugar. I don't know what to do.
Carlyn's going to be ready for tonight.
Doesn't even need Monster.
Oh, God. Me with that stuff? Nobody would want to see that. Episode of RoyalTea. Carrlyn Baith here alongside Kayla Canerum. And wow, we are essentially wrapping up the new year. We've already wrapped the new year by the time this has come out. Have we wrapped the new year?
Well, let's see.
Let's check the
I think it's
calendar.
like New Year's Eve day.
New Year's Eve day. Great. We're off to a great start here.
Yes, it is. The 31st,
New Year's Eve day.
as this comes out.
So New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve
is here.
Yeah.
We have to set some resolutions. We'll do that later.
Because we haven't thought about it right now.
We haven't thought about a single one. And I think that's something that we can tackle in the new year. That'll be our resolution, is to tackle our resolutions once the new year actually hits. And maybe we have the time.
Yes. And maybe one of them should be being on time.
Goodness gracious. Kayla, for everyone listening, all you teammates know, we're just a little bit behind sometimes. Maybe 5 minutes late, maybe 10, rarely 15.
Even when we try to be on time, which is most of the time.
Most of the time, we're trying.
It's not like we do this on purpose.
No, we are always trying. And something that I love about you is there are people who get extremely stressed about being late, and it ruins their day. They get the bummer attitude. They're aggravated. They've got the, the face that's like, oh, I'm so upset about this. You and I, we're approaching lateness with the same mentality, which is laugh our butts off and run as fast as we can. And that's exactly what we did when we went to go see the Nutcracker.
We went to the Nutcracker. It happened. You may have seen the video.
It happened, and it happened in the most us way fashion possible. So
can I read the texts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's pull up the receipts here.
It's so good.
We'd been planning this. Teammates, you've heard us talk about it. Kayla has been in 11 Nutcrackers. I haven't seen one in over like 2 decades. I was so looking forward to this, as was she. It's only 20 minutes from my house. I live in Orange County, so this wasn't a far drive. We're planning. We're thinking about, what time we're going to get there. Show starts at 2. They put on the schedule. 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Get your butt in the seat. 2 o'clock, right? We're planning on when to be there around 1:30. That was the first original text, right?
I sent a text at 10:47 the night before p.m. I go, I cannot wait. It starts at 2, so just because I know myself, my goal is to be parking by 1:30.
Perfect. Me too. I'll meet you there. The next day,
Saturday, you slept through your alarm.
Totally.
Then we get down to when we're leaving. I'm asking you what. Oh, so finally, okay, yes. I go, I'm heading that way now. ETA is 1:45. We're already missing it by 15 minutes, the goal. I go, getting a bagel really quick. You go, yay, so excited.
I'm blow drying my hair at this point.
Me too. Once I finally get in my car on the road, it is now 12:59. It takes me a good hour to get there.
Totally.
I go, ETA 1:50, but we'll try to make up, as I always do.
Time in the road, right? Make up time in the road.
Make up time on the road.
Meanwhile, I'm like, don't speed. Don't.
Well, when you're late, you have to.
A little bit.
Yeah. So then you ask me what I'm wearing. I respond. And then it's now, oh, you go in the car, 1:55 arrival at 1:36 p.m.
Perfect.
Great. I go, same. Right in front, trying to get in this garage. Everything, can I just say, was fine until we got to the garage.
I got there at 1:52. I was like ready to rock and roll, right?
I was in the front of the garage at 1:51.
Yeah, we got there at
the
like the same
timestamp.
time. Yeah.
You go, parking now too. We're so close. And then I go at 1:54. OMG, this garage is a nightmare. You go, paying for parking right now. OMG, still not parked. I'm still in the garage searching. At 2 o'clock, you sent that. Show starts at 2. I go at 2:04. OMG, that was so stressful. I just squeezed into the tiniest spot. I'll meet you out front across the street at 2:04.
I start typing a text message response, and I'm like, there's no time. There's a man yelling at me going, 1 minute or else we'll shut the doors and you'll have to wait outside for 6 to 8 minutes. And I was like, what?
So in theater etiquette, ballet etiquette, if you're not in your seat at curtain, they will lock the doors, lock you out until the next scene or act or whatever. Not act, but scene.
Yes.
Which is 6 to 8 minutes, whatever he said.
Yes.
So that's why it was a mad dash. Luckily, it's LA, so they held curtain a little longer. Well, in the overtures, a couple of minutes. But once you said, Kayla, run!
I called her because I was like, I can't even text her. This guy's yelling. I call her and I'm like, where are you? And I just look over. She's on the street and just starts booking it. And like, you're wearing your little red turtleneck. You can't miss her. She's just sprinting.
In my stiletto boots.
And I just thought it'd be hilarious to film it because what are we going to do? If we get locked out, we get locked out. But we're hustling. And I documented the whole thing. And you made the best reel. But how dramatic.
How dramatic. And just like so on par. Like,
us. It was us.
So us.
But
we never make it easy on ourselves, ever. But like, the optimism was there.
We
were so optimistic the night before. I'm like, 1:30, gonna be in the garage.
Technically, we were still 10 minutes early, and then the garage was what screwed everything.
We were in 2 separate garages. I thought we were in the same garage.
Same.
So then I was waiting on the corner thinking maybe you were still coming. Also, the garage was not keeping track of spots. They were just taking people's money, and so people were circling. I went on multiple levels looking for a spot.
I just went straight to the roof. I was like, I don't even want to try.
The roof was full on the one I was at.
No
like, people
way.
were circling and coming back down, and I'm like, well, this isn't good.
What if you just threw your keys to the attendant?
Someone
You're like,
just
ballet,
parked it
right? Somebody, I gotta get inside.
Valet always saves me. When there's no valet, game over.
Valet was made for people like us.
Yes.
I shouldn't be spending money on that.
No.
But I will if I'm late. And they
And then
know what they're doing.
Yeah. And then I had to take off to a dinner in West Hollywood right after.
Right after. And you're looking at your time and you're like, okay, so it's only going to take me hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to be 4 minutes late. I'm like, run! What is happening?
Never not running, never not sweating. Just another day in the life.
I just want to know, how do people do it? How are people so on time?
What is it like being on time?
What is it like?
And having time to spare.
Having time to spare, for sure. When people show up 20 minutes early to somewhere, I'm almost like, you're bragging. Even if they're not doing anything. I'm like, you're bragging. That's not fair. I don't get it. I try so hard.
We do.
Yeah. Anyway, the ballet was amazing.
So good.
So
we both
good.
were crying.
We cried multiple times. It was a matinee show, so lots of kiddos.
A lot of kids.
Lots of kiddos
were not
were
into
like,
it.
what's going on? One kid I just kept hearing, where's my water? And I was like, okay. At least they're hydrated. I don't know, but a lot of movement, a lot of like, when kids are not settled in their seats, there's just a lot of like.
We had them on both sides of us. There was one on Carrlyn's side, one on my side.
There's just this low hum of like throughout the whole theater of just like movement of kids. And I was like, okay. I just picture the ballet as like quiet. Everybody's like locked
Except
in and
when
focused.
We're trampling over people getting to our seats because it's pitch black.
I tramped over a booster step. Like a kid was so short in the seat that he had a booster step that was like for his feet to sit on. And so I'm like walking and I just was like, almost ate it. What if I fell down a couple rows?
We were in the middle of our aisle too, or our row, so we had to like climb over everybody.
I think that was the best part, was finally getting through the doors and realizing this is the home stretch. We're almost there. And me asking Kayla, okay, so where's our seats? And she just points and she's like, we're in the middle of the row.
I had to turn on my flashlight on my phone because once you get in the theater, they shut the door and then your eyes aren't adjusted and it's like black. I cannot see a thing.
Nothing.
What a time.
All that to say, the live orchestra was electric.
I love a live orchestra. American Ballet Theater, they're just beautiful.
The snow scene, I think, was my favorite. And
really?
Then also asking you every 10 seconds, were you that character? Did you ever play that one? Were you a rat? Were you this? How about that one? Were you that one? You were pretty much all of them.
Literally all of them.
Yeah.
Except,
Clara.
as we said, Clara, Spanish.
Which, overrated. Clara.
That's what you said, yeah.
Overrated.
Thank
I don't
you.
know. Well, I feel bad saying that. She did a great job. I'm just defending Kayla. Didn't need to be Clara.
But the pas de deux with, they call it Clara Princess, which we called it Sugar Plum, and the
Okay.
Cavalier.
Yeah.
So good. I tagged both of the
dancers.
dancers on Instagram, and they both shared it.
Did they
and
really?
Skylar, who did Clara,
Yeah.
Princess Clara, responded. She was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And I'm like, "I'm obsessed with you." And then I followed her.
Wow. So we have a new ballet friend.
We do.
I hope she's there next year. Do they do it again? Are they the same
Oh,
people
yeah.
again?
I think they bring their company
Yeah.
members, and then they'll use for like party scene, like the kid parts. I think they'll use like local studios.
Which
Typically, that's how it is.
I have some tea. I don't know if it's
What?
real, but I noticed during the kid party scene, one of the kids threw up a 6'7", and
No, they didn't.
swear on my life, I was like, I know what that is.
No, they did not.
I know what that is. And
In the Nutcracker?
In the Nutcracker, and then
That is so out of character.
my husband was getting Nutcracker TikToks because our algorithm's all Nutcracker, and somebody.
So is mine.
Somebody posted that one of the rats in their Nutcracker, a baby rat, so a kid rat, threw up a 6'7" in their Nutcracker. And I was like, I swear to God, they are conspiring and they are doing it. And if they are, that's awesome.
That is
I
so
swear.
not the 1800s vibe or 1700s. When does this take place? I don't even know.
I swear I saw it.
It's ruining everything, including the Nutcracker, apparently.
It's just making me feel old because I'm like, there it is again. Like, it's just the kids having
I
fun.
can't believe I didn't know that. I didn't see that. That's wild.
I saw it. I swear. So I don't know if
those
it's real
sneaky kids.
or if it was just a move that they were doing that like happened to look like it. But I was like, oh, that's it. That's it right there.
We can't escape it.
No. Could you tell we're millennials?
The most millennial.
The kids. Anywho, well, we've got a fantastic guest today. As you're listening to this, there is a game tonight, Kings versus Kraken. So one of our favorite people is in town. Her name is Piper Shaw. She is a content creator, a musician, a Disney fanatic.
She does everything, actually.
Everything.
After
a
speaking with her,
podcaster,
yes.
and most importantly, a sports broadcaster. And she has been with this team since the franchise started. Unbelievable interview coming up for you right now here with the one and only Piper Shaw. And here she is. We've got Piper Shaw from the Kraken right here in person with us. Welcome to RoyalTea, Piper.
Welcome, Piper.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored.
All the way from Seattle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in town for a very specific reason because the Kings are taking on the Kraken tonight as everyone's listening. This is when that game is happening. This will come out a few weeks after. But Piper, first of all, hello. Welcome to SoCal. We had a day the other day. We missed you. It would have been great to have you too.
Next time.
But we went to Disneyland.
We sure
and so much fun. Right off the hop, before we get into anything reporting, anything hockey, how much do you love Disney? Tell the people at home.
Okay, quickly, can we back up?
Yes.
We heard there was an issue going into Disney. She was getting ready to tell me earlier, but then we were like, time out, save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, can we start there?
The mouse said, nah, dog, you can't come in.
Okay. As many people, if you have gone to Disney in the last couple of years, know, maybe not the most popular choice that the company had to make because of the pandemic, but they require reservations now. So
Yes.
it's not just buying a ticket being enough to get into the park. You have to make a reservation. And I go to Disney like a fair amount, and so like I'm aware of this reservation system. Okay, like I know about it. But my husband and I were also going to spend Christmas in Anaheim with some of his family and at Disney, and so like I had like multiple like reservations and tickets and like a hotel, like all this stuff booked. And I kind of, it's the middle of the season, like everything is insane.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, and Carrlyn and I talked about doing this like since August, like
Yeah.
since literally like the schedule
The
had been
schedule
out.
came out, and I was like, all right, when are we free? When are you here? When can we Disney?
Yes.
Straight
So
up.
we'd been talking about this since before the preseason had
Yeah.
even like began. And I even like in my text messages, I have like, I booked this ticket. Like we're all good. Like multiple times we revisit this conversation and we check into our hotel in Anaheim on Saturday night, 2:20 in the morning, and I'm like logging into my app and I see that I have a ticket but not a reservation for Sunday. And of course it's the weekend before Christmas, so there are no reservations available. So I am devastated, completely devastated. I sent Carrlyn a wall of text.
I just went
and
to mornings or practice because I was like, okay, I'll kill some time and like maybe hop on the phone with Disney, and she's like, it's a 40-minute wait.
Wait, I have a question. How do they let you get a ticket but not a reservation?
Great question.
That's an awesome question.
Great question.
That feels like a kink in the system.
A
Yes.
little bit.
Well, there's many details there, but it's partially because I bought like a multi-day ticket. It's whatever. But all of this is to say, I was very devastated, and some of my coworkers were going to be going. JT Brown, who played for the Ducks and the Wild and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then Al Kaniski, who's our radio color analyst. They had bought tickets.
You guys had a crew
on Friday night, so like 2 days earlier, they had bought tickets and got reservations. Yeah, so I'm devastated. They're Ubering away from me, and when they got into the park, JT, I guess, was just like, I'm just going to go up to guest services inside of the park and just ask.
What's one more person, you know?
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but because this reservation system has been so frustrating for so many people,
Yeah.
and, you know, they've had, like, they don't really budge on it. And I know that they don't, because I also have a Disney podcast, okay? And a whole Disney Discord with people. And anyway, so I know that they
She loves
don't
Disney.
really budge.
Yeah.
So JT went in, and I guess he just really like turned on the charm, as Al said, and leveraged everything that he could. And they were like, okay. So then JT calls me and he's like, can you send me a picture of your ticket? And I'm like, sure. And I'm sitting on hold because Carrlyn's like, well, just try to call them. Just try.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sitting on hold, and they said that it's a 40-minute wait. So I'd been sitting on hold for like 10 minutes just to talk to somebody. I'm like, well, whatever. And then JT calls me again, and he's like, put your shoes on and call the car. You're in. I'm like, and Al and JT saved the day. And yeah, so then we got to go to Disneyland.
So he just sweet talked them?
Yep.
Essentially.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Were you there at this point, or did you
I
not?
wasn't, but I came later that day, and we did a repeat of this because she only had a single park ticket, which was for California Adventure. And then we were like, we want a park hop and also go to Disneyland and go to the other park. Round 2, went to guest services, and we're like, listen, this is a very specific circumstance. She
There's
would
4
really-
NHL broadcasters in this park right now trying to make content.
2 of them are in Disneyland. 2 of them are in California Adventure. We need to unite. And then they were awesome because they, made it work.
Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're magical.
I think-
So sweet talking works at Disney is
I
the
think-
lesson out of this.
I think with customer service anywhere, there is a certain level of leeway, essentially, that if a person is kind enough or explains their situation kindly enough, I feel like things can be wiggled around. Hopefully.
Well, I think they could see, I mean, they could absolutely see too that, like, I mean, I had a hotel booked, I had multiple days of tickets booked. Like, if you look at my profile, you can tell that I'm also somebody that has spent a lot of money with this company, I would assume. But
they saw dollar signs. They're like, we can get an extra $200 out of
Preferred
if we send her
member.
over there. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad everything worked out.
Yeah.
I saw stuff on social, and it looked like a time.
Yeah.
Next time, you can come.
Yes.
February.
I went last year in December.
Oh.
Also wild. Yeah, it's every day was like booked. We went on a Monday, I think. But that was the first time I had been in years. And
Really?
it was the best day. I'm like, I want to go back more.
We're going back in February.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a day off at some point before the next Kraken Kings game. So you're coming.
I'm coming with you.
Yeah. Yay. You're coming with us.
I'll make a reservation.
So
Please do. I don't know that we're going to get much grace if we don't again.
yeah, she's learning. Okay. Well, this isn't a Disney podcast, but as much as I want it to be one, no. You have a Disney podcast, which is awesome. You also have a Kraken podcast. You create features for your Kraken network. You're a reporter. You've filled in on the desk before. You travel with the team. You're kind of this Swiss Army knife, do it all. What did you choose as your career path when you were getting into all of this, because you do so many different things? Were you just like, I want to do that and it spawned, or how did you get
I
there?
mean, kind of all of it. I've always been somebody that is a very creative person, and I just I like to make things. I always did. Like when I was in middle school, I was like, I'm not making a PowerPoint. Like, I'm making an iMovie, and I'm making a short film on ancient Egypt, and that's what I did. I have a whole presentation
Can we
on
see
the
that?
black squirrel that I made in the 7th grade, like a movie with music. I would score them, legitimately.
Wow.
In 7th grade too. When we had to do creative essays, I asked my teacher, I'm like, could I write a song as an essay and record it and sing it and write the chords for it, and so instead of having to turn it in, I wrote a 5-paragraph essay as a song and turned it in. So I've just always been weird like that, and to make
That's
things
so
and to
cool.
make things and to tell stories and stuff like that. So was also a speech kid and a theater kid. I'm from Minnesota. I grew up around hockey. I'm from St. Cloud, Minnesota, which is basically only hockey.
Yep.
Very flat. So when I was looking for like career options when I was a teenager, I was like, well, what could I do I also really like current events and like news, but I'm like, what could I do that's like creative, public speaking, listening, writing, all of these things, storytelling, like into one job. And it was very obvious that like that's what broadcasting was. So I went to college early when I was 16, took advantage.
What?
Yeah.
How?
In Minnesota, they have a program. It's called PSEO. And if you qualify, basically, if your like grades are good enough, then you can go early and completely free of charge.
So you're super smart.
Well, I was when I was a teenager. But so I also knew I was going to be paying for my own school too. So like I was like, basically I could get like 2 years ahead if I took a crap ton of credits at once and save myself a bunch of money on school too.
Right.
So I graduated with 2 majors and a minor when I was 21. I just turned 21. And I kind of extended my stay so that my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, Jake, he's a broadcast engineer. I'm so rambling, but I stuck around so that he could finish school in a year and a half. So it was a whole thing. And then now we both work in TV. And I also was like, I don't think anybody's going to hire me to be on TV when I'm 19. So I like kind of waited around a little bit. I worked in news for 9 months, and then I had the opportunity to start covering hockey for Fox Sports Wisconsin with the Wisconsin Badgers. And Tony Granato was the head coach at the time. He was so awesome to me. I remember we'd be in his office, and he'd be like, anything you want to do, Piper? Like, what ideas do you have? Like, what can we make content? So I'd spend like the week making content with the team, games on Friday, Saturday, and then we covered some of the women's games as well. So Mark Johnson is the coach there too. So I was just like all of a sudden in like hockey greatness at the time. And so anyways, I always wanted to do like digital content, all kinds of creation in addition to reporting, and I saw that creativity and that storytelling ability to be the thing that kind of set me apart, but also that really drove me. Like intermission interviews are fun and important and a utility, of course.
Totally.
But like I really like to actually make stuff. So
I love
sorry, that was such a long
There's
answer.
so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
I just can't stop thinking about what a disaster I would have been in college at 16. Like,
Well,
that's crazy.
I was just like, I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was taking like
She's on a
18 credit
mission.
semesters. And I got to take, because it was free too, like I got to take so many classes that I didn't even know what it was at the time and just learn more about myself.
Just
Like
absorb.
I took philosophy classes and sociology class. I didn't even know what sociology was.
Yeah.
I took astronomy just because I could, because it was free. And I'm so glad that I did that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is, I also, I mean, I'm just like blown away because I feel like I know you and I've known you for a few years now. And it's like hearing your origin story almost. It's like, this makes a lot of sense. Making music and like writing as if you were creating a song instead of a project. She incorporates so much music into her like sporting life as well.
Yeah,
Like,
I make music.
you make music, not just make music, you record it. It's on Spotify.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
It's played in the Kraken Arena.
Yeah, they play my music.
What
in
do you mean you
arenas
make
sometimes.
music?
She's like a
Are you
Taylor.
singing?
She's a punk
Yeah.
rock Taylor Swift.
Well, okay, that's really generous of you,
true.
Carrlyn.
Wait,
but-
really?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like 5 songs that are online. I actually have one that I am done with that I really need to get out, but it's been hard to find the time to get album art made and
Yeah.
conceptualized. So, but yeah, I actually have a song that is one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It's called Alien, and Charlie Paulson, who's the guitarist from Goldfinger, like
Yeah.
featured on it, which is a band that I grew up loving as a kid.
course.
Like their song Mabel, when I was like literally in a car seat, I'd be like, Dad, can you play the puppy dog song? Because there's a line a puppy in it anyway.
How did
But-
you meet him?
Well, I just like took a shot in the dark and just like sent him a message on Instagram, and I was like, hey, I love you and your band, and I've grown up listening to it, and I made this song, and I just wonder what you think of this mix, because I don't really have like an ear for a mix. So like I write the songs, I produce like the first kind of demo version of them, and then I have a great producer that I work with, and he mixes them and masters them. And I was like, but just kind of what do you think of this? Because I don't have like a feedback system for
Right.
that versus you do for broadcast. You do for like your work.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And you have a whole team of people that like work with you, but this is just like me and my guy Eric. Like, should we just make some stuff? So anyways, I just sent it to Charlie, and he just like happened to open my DM and listen to it. Was like, this rips. And he was like, this is sick. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah, it's really good. And anyway, so then he was like, I would do some guitars on it if you wanted. And I was like,
You're like,
yeah.
That's insane.
Anyway.
Do you sleep?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, famously, I do not sleep, as my coworkers will tell you. I take a lot of NyQuil on the road, okay? It's been a bit, but.
The sleep schedule's tough.
So tough.
Kayla did her first, like, real deal road trip, travel, bus, plane, like, scheduling type of thing, and it's tough.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
East Coast, too. I never adjust when we go to the East Coast. I struggle so hard.
That, you guys just came off that. That would be tough.
I'm up till 3 or 4 in the morning. 'cause
3
it's
hour
1 or 2 here.
time change.
Totally.
Yeah.
Plus just the swing of, like, when the game is done at 10 p.m. and you're working post-game. And
I
if it
ripped
was-
a coffee or a Monster at 7.
Yep. I always tell people that. I'm consuming caffeine at 7 p.m. because I have to be my most mentally sharp, my most ready to perform, my most entertaining, my best at small talk at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like,
And then they're like, morning skate or practices the next morning at whatever time. And I'm like, what?
and then someone's like, hey, can we shoot something at 9? And you're like, yeah,
With makeup
I'll
on?
have makeup on.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
The makeup is the worst part.
Yeah. Choosing the eyelashes. Like the conversation
eyes
of
are
like,
always
oh yeah,
burning.
are we doing eyelashes
This
today
morning
or
I was
not?
like, I still have to put eyelashes on.
Yeah.
Sorry. I looked awful in the last one.
Well, anything that we have to do, think about it. We have to add an hour and a half minimum extra time as a buffer of getting hair and makeup ready, camera ready, presentable, and finding an outfit. And I feel like maybe it's a little bit easier for some of our coworkers to just be like, I got my suit picked out and my hair looks
Men
nice.
could
Like,
never.
oh, I'm so jealous. So that might have to do with our sleep schedule. I don't know, but you don't sleep either. It sounds
No.
like, which
No.
is a common theme
know.
among reporters.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, with you traveling with the team, do you have any favorite moments, favorite cities, anything that you can like share with us as, oh, I went here and loved this place, or
Yeah, it's always interesting. I'm sure, Carrlyn, you get this question all the time too. People will ask, like, what's your favorite visiting arena to be in?
Montreal.
Okay. So a lot of people say Montreal.
Yeah.
But I don't have RF, which is wireless,
Yep.
when we're on the road or at home.
I don't have it on the road either, but at
Okay.
home I do.
So I sit hardwired outside of our visiting locker room and watch the entire game off of a monitor.
So you don't get to see
all of
much.
the time. So I never, ever see any visiting team's in-arena production
They
at
need
all.
to do a drop for you by the rink, so you can do.
We always do them outside the room. So that's just how
But even
we've
just
always
So I'll see you there
done it.
tonight outside
know-
the room.
Yep, I will be there the entire time. So it's always funny though, because I'm basing it off of like, how easy is it to get in and out of these tiny crappy visiting locker rooms and like get all of our
Yeah.
cables through, because that impacts my experience more of like, what is this level of stress and what, like, physically managing the space much more than like the production, because I don't see them. I couldn't tell you who the loudest crowd is because I can't hear them.
That's interesting.
Because you do hits in a different way than I do. You're not doing them in the period, correct? You're only
No.
doing the intermissions and elsewhere outside of that, correct?
Yeah, so we start with the bench interview right at the start of warm-ups, and
Yep.
then I usually have a thing or two in the pregame show,
Yep.
and then usually in the game open, and then sometimes another one like right before puck drop.
So you're front loading what
Yes.
you're doing. Yeah.
And then in-game hits are all off camera,
Yep.
other than intermissions, which are interviews. So
I would almost ask, is there an in-arena drop we could do? Because it's possible. That's what I do. Like I have something that's by the ice, and then I also have something that's in the hallway. So you can be in the crowd and like listen and see and hear, because the most
Yeah.
important part is hearing our broadcast still. So if for anyone listening, if they're
exactly.
wondering,
you can't
like,
just unplug.
yeah, Piper can't just go sit in the bowl and like listen to the crowd and watch the game. And yes, you can watch the game and absorb what's happening, but the most important part is to have the broadcast storyline see itself through and listen to what our partners are saying. So we have to be plugged in. So we need to get you a ringside drop.
I could ask.
Let's start tonight.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't like it doesn't necessarily like add anything other than my personal experience,
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of person to be like, oh, can you accommodate me more?
But
Even
no,
though
I think
sometimes I should be.
You
but-
could frame it. You could frame it like, I mean, that's such a hard part in this business because
Yeah.
we don't want to be too loud. We don't want to be like
a diva.
a diva, or not even a diva, but like we don't want to ruffle any feathers, even if there's not even feathers that will be ruffled. We just, I don't know. I feel like, what if an injury happens, or what if you see something like that's great that you're out there to see it.
Sometimes it's nice to be right by the locker room though too, because you see things, guys coming off or equipment folks coming off or things that are happening too, when you're like right there as well, which can help kind of color the context of like, okay, well, or hey, vibes are really good or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh gosh. A locker
Pros
room.
and cons.
Locker room hallway vibes. Elite.
So then what's your favorite visiting hallway?
Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. That was such a rambly thing. My favorite visiting hallway. I love going to Edmonton actually, which is maybe not the most
snap
take. Yeah. The crews there, the broadcast crews are always just awesome.
They're so great.
So nice. They're so great. And there's so much room for the visiting team to work and function in there, and the bench is right there, but there's also space. And also, I don't know where you guys stay, but the hotel that we stay in is like connected to the arena, and so you don't even have to go outside. So you're not beholden to the bus schedule. You can get there when it makes sense for you to get there.
Right.
Which is so nice. I love when you can walk, and even better when you can walk indoors when it's the middle of the winter in Canada.
They really figured it out in Canada with their pedway system.
Yes.
You don't have to go outside at all in
That's
certain
amazing.
cities. Yeah, you walk from like building to building, and like buildings that aren't even related to one another. You literally just like walk this like system that's like an above ground sidewalk, I guess.
There's a lot of colleges in Minnesota that
I was going to say Minneapolis has this, right? Like a skywalk.
They could benefit from more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, they have some.
It's so crucial. It gets so cold up there.
When it's negative 60. I remember when I was in college walking outside, my contacts are literally so dry that they're falling out of my eyes. I mean, you're from Maine. It's cold there, right?
I forget what it's like there.
Okay.
Maine feels like it wouldn't be, I don't know.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's freezing. It gets really cold, but I've lived here since I was 19, and I feel like I've experienced so much California winter now that I'm like,
which is not winter.
no, it's not winter at all. I go back to Maine and I'm like devastated. Like, it's so cold. I'm such a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But okay, to answer your question, I'm so sorry that didn't fully answer the question, but going to New York's always great. There's a little place that we always go to if we have like an off evening without a game the next day, Cafe Wa, which is in Greenwich Village.
Oh.
Our crew always goes there. We love it. It is Bob Dylan's like old hangout and stuff. In fact, if you watch the Timothée Chalamet Bob Dylan movie, it opens up with him in front of Cafe Wa. And it is the best house band of all time, and it's so much fun, and there's no cell service when you go down these steps, and it's just such a blast. So we always go there. So
Cafe Wa. How do you spell that?
we look forward to it all year. It's Wa, WHA ?
Oh, what? Oh,
Cafe Wa?
Cafe what? Oh, that's a good tip. I've never heard of that. Never been there. Love New York though.
Yeah.
Such a good trip.
How did you go from Fox Sports Wisconsin to Seattle? And were you there at the beginning of the team inception? And what was that like being on the ground floor?
Yeah. So,
Those were like 3 questions.
Yeah.
She's got this. You got this.
100%. Well, when I was in Wisconsin, I obviously was like, the next logical step in my career is to go to the NHL. And I, was interested in going in a variety of places, but I also was kind of trying to pitch myself as exactly what we talked about earlier. Like, I don't want to like just be a sideline reporter. Not that there's anything wrong with just being a sideline reporter, but I want to also like make digital content and make this kind of stuff, which also kind of made more sense to be like a team employee rather than a network employee, because as a network employee, you often cover like other teams and do other things, which when I was at Fox Sports Wisconsin, I also did. Like, I did all the high school sports. I was doing cross country. I was freelancing other things. I was doing like Brewers stuff sometimes. Like, I was doing a bunch of stuff, but I was like, I just want to focus on hockey and hockey storytelling. And how do I in my early 20s, like, pitch this basically. But so I told everybody and anybody that would listen that I wanted to go work for the new NHL team that was going to Seattle. I wanted to be part of telling the story. Everybody. Like, during COVID, I was working as a utility on a random college football show in Las Vegas.
No
I'm dead
way.
serious. And because it was during COVID, like, so many folks were working any broadcast, even if they were working positions that were like not their typical positions. So we had like professional producers, NHL producers working graphics positions, working font assist positions on broadcast. And I was telling everybody for years. The Kraken it wasn't even the name. I was like, I want to work for that team. I want to work for that team. I told my boss, I want to work for that team. And everybody was just kind of like, good luck. Like, have fun. But eventually I told enough people, I had enough conversations, I sent enough emails that eventually some folks with the Kraken like called me and had some Zooms with me, and I came out here in like April, or out to Seattle in like April of 2021. And then it was kind of like, well, we don't know if she's going to do team stuff and do social stuff, or maybe in arena stuff, or if she's going to do like work for the network. Because at the time the network was Root Sports, which is owned by the Mariners.
Yep.
And they had the rights to the Kraken. It was just kind of a lot of unknowns, and also trying to launch a hockey team in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
Like,
Crazy.
was a whole thing. Like, our team started with everybody having to get COVID tested multiple times a day, masks on buses. Like, everything we did was like peak pandemic to begin. So there was just a lot of unknowns is my point. But eventually I was kind of between both organizations at the time, and then eventually I became a Root employee. Last year, the Kraken decided to bring the broadcast entirely in-house. So our entire broadcast is like operated in-house by the Seattle Kraken. So, or the Kraken Hockey Network. But yeah, it's kind of what I did. And the fact that I was like, I want to make content too helped, but also put me in this position of like,
Made
what
you stand out.
It did, but it was
Yeah.
also like, we don't really know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Because it's a
Yeah.
little different too. So I kind of had to be like, look, I could make this thing. I could make this thing. I could make this thing, you know? And I still am always like, I could do this. We could do this. What if we did this?
I love that persistence. Like,
Yeah.
just knowing that you wanted to be a part of this team and doing anything it took to get there.
I remember me and my husband were sitting on my couch in Wisconsin and watching the Twitter stream of the day that they unveiled the name of the team. And we were hoping that it was the Kraken, because my husband is a diehard Pirates of the Caribbean fan. Oh. He's got it tattooed on his whole forearm.
Yep.
And so we were so pumped when it was the Kraken, and he was like, it's fate. It's fate.
I remember that day so vividly too, because I'm looking at the whole, like, not mood board, but layout of the logos, alternate logos, colors, everything. I was like, this is so well done. Like, bravo, whoever was behind that. It was so good.
And the colors.
Yeah, the color schemes.
I love their color scheme so much.
And it's
so
like
much.
my personal color scheme of my like wardrobe too.
Yeah.
And like our wedding colors were like all those colors. So it's just funny. It all
Everything in
just
your life has
feels-
been like pointing toward that moment, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's how it feels, but also that feels like that's how I pointed it too.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's a good kind of layout for people that are, I don't know, I feel like so many people look at maybe our jobs or other people's jobs and go, how did they get there? Or what? They're so lucky, or it just happened for them. And it's like, no, emails, calls, text messages, telling everybody, working as a utility.
Oh,
Like,
I worked on
awesome.
broadcast in every position. Like I've done
How important is
handheld
that?
camera. So important. And it's helped me hugely, and it earns so much respect with crews every time I'm on shows. Just last night, like in Anaheim, like it's like I know exactly what all of their jobs are, and I have respect for the fact that I know that when we're complaining that, oh, it's a 1 p.m. game, so we needed to be there by 10 or whatever, so oh, we had to get up at 7 when we worked. No, the crew had to be there at 4.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, my husband is a broadcast engineer, so he's the first person on site of the shows that he works. So I'm like, I know when the graphics machine goes down, what's happening, and like all those kinds of things, which I always tell people when they ask for advice that like that's a huge thing. Understand that you are just one tiny, tiny little nut and bolt in this entire machine, frankly, even though you're the one that comes across on TV, but also that you no longer have to ask for permission to get opportunity to get reps. You no longer have to wait for some guy at some desk to tell you that you can start making content and that you can get yourself on camera, because now you have social media, now you have YouTube, now you have all these things. Like
at your
if you're
fingertips.
truly that driven and you love the work that much, you can do it yourself, you know, until you have enough to prove it to somebody.
No, totally. You can have your own YouTube channel, your own TikTok channel.
You were really good about that. When I first met you, I feel like you were always putting together content.
I love to vlog.
Yes. Yes.
We vlogged at
We vlogged at Disney.
I watched your videos on YouTube when I was auditioning for the Kings.
Stop.
Yeah. Well, and stuff you did for, what was it, Black and White back in the day? Or,
We had
or not Black and White.
oh my god, I'm blanking
King's
on the name.
Vision?
King's Vision. Yes.
Yes.
I completely just blacked out a part of my life. I was like, wait, what was it called? Oh my God. Yes, King's Vision. And yeah, I mean, same thing though. Like I would just ask people, can I do this or can I make that or can we try this? And that's so necessary. And it's stuff that people only see the finished product and they're like, what? How did that happen? And it's somebody knocking on the door or banging on the desk or sending the email or the text or whatever.
Refresh
Yeah.
is the result of 7 years of emails and ideas and pitches and nonstop like follow-ups. Like, and then one day it happens, but you have to just keep pushing.
No, totally. Totally.
My former executive producer at Root Sports, his name's John Bradford, and he has been one of the biggest supporters of me in my career. But I remember when I'd first moved to Seattle and I was just like, okay, I don't want to mess this up and I want to do this and all this. And he was like, Piper, calm down. He said, you're not lucky. Luck is just the intersection of opportunity and hard work. And that's where you are right now. And I'll never forget, I was pacing in my bedroom and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just moved across the country to Seattle and we didn't even have a single player yet, you know? Like, it's like, what are we doing? Because I hosted our expansion draft and I was like backstage, I'm like, can I say that Jordan Emberley is here? You know, I don't know. But anyway, I always think about that luck is the intersection of opportunity and hard work.
1,000.
So good.
Except when it's puck luck.
Put it on a bumper.
Puck luck, so real. So real. That's a whole different, like, witchcraft in its own. Puck luck. It's insane.
Etsy witches.
Yeah. When you moved to Seattle, when did Jake come? Was he already there? Did he have a job lined up? How did you both start your lives there? And how tough was the transition, or was it easy?
Well, so his company is like a nationwide company. So they used to have a guy that kind of covered for his company the Pacific Northwest area, but he actually lived in Phoenix. So he was flying up to Oregon and Seattle and Montana and Idaho constantly. So it worked out really well for them. They were kind of like, oh yeah, actually it would be great if you lived there. Yeah. So, because then he could just be local. And it was so much better for him too, because he used to be his company's like East Coast engineer. So he was doing like all the Big East basketball and MAC football. And just like, so he basically lived in New York and New Jersey, like lived in the Prudential Center. Wait, Prudential Center?
Yeah.
What's the one in Jersey?
That's it. Prudential.
Okay.
Yep.
The United Center's in Chicago. Yes. He went there quite a bit too. But anyway, so it's a great like adjustment for work-life balance for him. So they were just like, yeah, totally go, because it was the middle of the summer and they do a lot of WNBA basketball. So they had like the Storm and at the time they had NWSL teams as well. So there was a lot of work for his company in Seattle. So they were like, yeah, it'd be great. We would save a ton of money to not have to fly somebody up there. So yeah, we didn't really have to like pivot that too much. But the hardest thing about relocating to Seattle was obviously that it is so much more expensive than Madison, Wisconsin.
Right.
And needing like first and last and current month's rent, like we needed suddenly $15,000 like just to get into a place. Oh my god! And the place, and we were out there like touring places, but they have like rules that basically like the very first person that applies, if they meet the application, like you have to let them in. So it's just really hard to find housing is my point. Really hard to find housing. So we ended up moving into a place that we did not even ever see in person at all. Yep, we just went on a FaceTime, Zoom. We had no really idea of what it was, and we're like, all right, well, there we go. We just pulled up with a U-Haul, packed up our cats in his truck, put my car on a trailer that he pulled behind a U-Haul, drove all the way across the country, and we're like, okay, well, I guess this is where we live now.
How'd the cats do on that drive?
Oh,
that sounds
they're
insane.
fine.
They're good?
They were fine. They're just meow, walking around, looking out the window.
Oh my god.
You know. Yeah.
Okay, the Kraken we were talking about this before we started recording, in their 5th season already, which I cannot believe that. What are you most proud of in your 5 years there so far? Like, what's something that you look back on and you're like, I love that I did that, or put that together, or if it's content or...
I think the feat of launching an entire broadcast in-house last year, which is really a credit to the organization for identifying the opportunity that is, and I think we might still be the only one in the NHL that is an entirely in-house broadcast. And they did it, when they were still technically like under contract with the network, but because it was kind of like a team to team, they could like sort it out and it was all fine. But our broadcast is available 100% free 100% free.
Wow.
So if you live in Seattle, you can watch it on our local news stations over the air on King or Kong TV, depending on the night. Or if you have an Amazon Prime membership, if you just have it, you don't have to pay for Prime TV or Prime Video or whatever. You just have a regular Prime membership. You get every single Kraken game if you live in our viewing area, other than when it's TNT or whatever, you know,
National
other
game.
than that.
Yeah.
But so completely free. And that I just think, and it has not only done numbers for ratings, but just people that didn't see the broadcast or see the game. I mean, it's not an entirely new sport, but it is an entirely new league to this whole market up in the Pacific Northwest. So just to be part of one telling the story of a franchise from the ground up, from day one. I know every single player that has ever come through our organization, every single coach, every single, like, that's just an incredible opportunity to be part of sewing the fabric of this story for 5 years. But then to it with the way that the broadcast landscape is right now, to be part of making it so that it's like, we hear you, we see you, and here's the game that you want to access without it like being such an issue. It's just been so rewarding, and it's really a credit to, like I said, ownership in the organization to see the value in that, and then also to two of my coworkers, Ryan Shaber and Pat Brown, who are our producer and our director, who worked their tails off.
Yeah.
Because all of the infrastructure that a network has, we had none. We had none. We had no studio. We had no crew. We had no contracts with truck companies. We had nothing. So they had to do it all, and they did it all in like 5 months. In like 5 months, they launched
unreal.
a network.
Crazy.
Being the
And we're
newest
still a
team in the
department
league.
of 5. Like, we have 3 producers, me, and then an editor. And then we have like obviously like our talent, but they're not as, you know, involved in the everyday content production of it all. But yeah, so we're still like a tiny department, and, you know, finding our place in the world and with the production team and all those things. But I just think it's been really, really rewarding to get to see that, and to be like, and like, we won a bunch of Emmys, and we pretty consistently are in the top 3 ranked broadcasts in the NHL. And it's like, to just be like a teeny tiny part of all those things is just really cool.
I think we're going to see a lot more teams follow suit
I hope so.
in that model
I hope so.
as time goes on.
And I hope that people that, you know, we can kind of be a role model in that space, I think, is kind of the hope. So plus I get to work with John Forson and Eddie Olczyk every day, which is a couple of legends. So that's crazy.
What is that like? Because I've listened to those voices for the entirety of me loving hockey, and you get to work with them.
Yeah.
What is that like? They're legendary.
Well, it was incredibly intimidating at first.
Oh,
like, I
gosh.
like going back to year 1, you know, like, I'm like, hi, John.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr.
Hi, I'm
Forson.
Piper.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. You know? No, but they're so great and so supportive and just hilarious. Like, I kind of always joke that, like, we have the Muppets on our show because we have Statler and Waldorf on our show, and they know. We've tried to like Photoshop images of them because they're just best friends, and
Who
there's
would you
incredible
be?
like super cuts.
If you're a Muppet, who are you?
So I don't really know a lot of the Muppets, to be honest. But Animal's my favorite.
The drummer.
Yeah. Which I was a little drummer when I was a kid, and there's actually a picture of me where I kind of look like him. On
There
the
you
drums.
go.
What are you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Probably Rizzo the Rat.
Pizza Rizzo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably me.
Kayla?
I'm with you. I don't really know the Muppets. Is Kermit the Frog a Muppet?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
1000%.
Wait, who are the Muppets? Bert and Ernie?
Yeah.
No, those are from Sesame Street.
Oh,
Shoot.
I'm getting. See, this is. I'm
kind of like
Muppets. I'm
In my head, I'm like, of course they are.
I'm getting confused on my puppets.
Yeah, no, that's Sesame Street. That's
Yeah.
Sesame Street.
Big Bird, Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Then who are the Muppets? Miss Piggy,
Miss
Kermit.
Piggy, Animal, Rizzo,
Electric Mayhem, the band in general.
Pepe, the
Skunk.
no, he's not a skunk, but he's not a shrimp. He's a king prawn.
What?
Yeah.
So,
So,
How'd we get here?
yeah.
your broadcast partners.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, John and Eddie. I didn't mean to
That was
Muppetize
my
you. They know. They know. That's some Kraken tea right there.
That's good tea. That is good tea.
Okay, we are big fans of Jessica Campbell.
Oh.
What is she like to work with?
Just like there's this aura that glows around her everywhere that she goes, and just awesome and incredible. One thing that we do too on our broadcast, which I love, that we started doing last year when we went in-house, is now we have assistant coaches on every second intermission. So we just have players first intermission and then coaches second intermission, which not only offers like a more unique insight, or just a different kind of perspective, and gives the players a little bit of a break, but so that also means that now our assistant coaches are doing every third game they're doing TV, which is a lot more than most of the players are, including Jess. So I get to, like, even just in 3 little intermission interview questions, to hear how she listens to the question and responds to the question. You can just tell what a great hockey mind she is and how smart she is and how clearly, like, she sees the game. And she's just an icon, and everywhere we go, like, there are little girls with signs, and she takes every time that she can. She never misses the opportunity to connect with fans, and she knows how valuable just that visibility is. And I think she takes it upon, I don't want to speak for her, but I believe that she takes it upon herself a lot to make sure that she is, representing that with as much professionalism and everything that goes with it as she can. So
you can see that.
She's awesome. Plus she's just like gorgeous.
Stunning. I'm a big fan of the all white.
Yes.
Which but
yeah, she
so
always has
beautiful.
great suits. And like last year, I think it was last year. Time blurs. Time blurs.
Yeah.
We always have like a women in hockey night game in Climate Pledge Arena, and last year when I got to the game, she had suits that she had gotten from me and Allison, who is one of our analysts on our broadcast. She literally had suits that she set out for us at my station with sorry, I hit the mic, with friendship bracelets that had like women empowerment and hockey messages and handmade notes with our names on them, like addressed to us and like personalized, that she gave us like on hangers, and it was like, I'm so like glad to be your teammate. And we were both like Carla, like imagine we're like walking into the, and I was like, oh my gosh,
I want to be her friend.
Yeah, it's interesting for me though too, because sometimes I'm also like, well, I'm not really like buddies with the other coaches though either. Like I wouldn't expect other coaches to be like, just riffing as casually, you know what I mean? So I'm also very cognizant of that too, to also like treat coaches with that privacy, with that respect too, that like, we're not the same as me and Allison necessarily, you know? Like, so anyways, because there is that level of like professional, boundary too.
You leave the door open, and if they choose to walk through it,
Totally.
we can accept the gesture of, oh, great, nice to see you, nice to chat with you. But we're never able
100%.
to approach and bother and whatnot. That is so special.
That's incredible.
I know. There's a lot of incredible women that work in our organization though, and in our front office, and like there's some awesome hockey minds, female hockey minds in our organization, including my coworker Allison, who's literally one of our broadcast analysts.
Love
and she's
her.
like an icon too. So she's similar in the way too, that everywhere we go, it's like, Allison, and people are always throwing friendship bracelets at her.
What I love about Allison is her ability to describe what she's talking about in a way that's digestible for people, because she brings in a lot of high level stats and analysis, and it can be overwhelming for people. And I feel like she just says things in such a way that it could be your first time watching a hockey broadcast and you're like, oh, I know what that means because of the way that she's talking about it.
Totally.
It's so impressive.
She brands herself as a data-driven storyteller, and that's like exactly what she does. She can take numbers and high-level data and charts, but then just like explain like what you should be taking away from this. Like,
yes,
what does this number actually mean? And like we love to like talk about face-offs on our broadcast, and how the face-off stat doesn't actually measure whether or not you got possession. So it does.
Totally.
So like the face-off stat, ideally, when you win a face-off, that means you get possession, but not necessarily, because that's not what it measures. So she goes on things like that, and like the nuances of like plus and minus and stuff like that a lot of people don't maybe contextualize as much. And that is like her specialty. So among many, many other things.
I love that.
Yeah. It's
making it digestible for the audience. Yeah,
totally. I think that's one of the hardest things with hockey, is it's such a fast-paced game that if you're watching an arena, you might not have any idea what's going on at all, and then you watch at home and you still might not have any idea because of the way people are talking about it. How do you bring personalized type of, I don't know, digestibleness was what the word would be to what you say and describe to people, because you're a storyteller at heart. How are you choosing and saying things to make it so it's kind of for everybody sometimes?
You know, I think for me, because we have several analysts, like for me, the unique task that I have is really in like humanizing the players and contextualizing the game and the sport and the team in like our broader world and like as people. And especially because in Seattle, although the sport of hockey is not new, we have WHL teams in the Seattle area that a lot of people have long been like fans of, but the league in the NHL game and our team, for a lot of people, we had to spend a lot of our early years teaching people the game of hockey. So I was producing Hockey 101 shows where it's like, well, okay, this is the neutral zone. These are the blue lines. This is what offside means. Like, this is icing. Like, just things like that. We had to, you know, we spent a lot of time and, you know, obviously content, you know, like just kind of getting those things across. But now, especially since becoming like a team employee and us investing in the network, my role has really shifted to more feature storytelling. And I just like, I love that, because to have the opportunity to like, I'm going to share with you guys the heart and soul and the family of this player that you watch. I take it as a huge responsibility, first of all, and a huge opportunity. So to answer your question, Carrlyn, like I always try to think like, how do I make sure that this is accurate and also that people feel connected to it? And when this player sees this story that I have written and that I have planned since the summer, I know we talked about this a little bit like off camera.
Pre-plan so many months in advance to get these stories together.
That they feel like we have honored their story and that people feel like they genuinely understand the essence of this guy. Like, so for example, we have a player, his name is Eeli Tolvanen. Eeli Tolvanen, he's Finnish. He is many, many things, but he's so like mischievous, and it's very hard to capture this energy when you just watch him play hockey, like when you just watch him in the game. But I want people when they see something that I presented on him to feel like they understand the essence of who he is. Yeah, which can be hard to like get across. But like here's some tea. For example, last night we were playing in Anaheim. And I was running a feature that I did last year on Capo Kakko, another one of our Finnish players. When Capo first got to Seattle, because he was traded, he was living with Eeli Tolvanen for a while until he found a place. Then he needed a new contract over the summer, so he let his place go. Then he needed a new place to live earlier this year. Yeah. So when I come back on camera at the end of the feature, I'm like, I'm very happy to report that Capo Kakko was once again living with Eeli Tolvanen at the start of this season. And Eeli Tolvanen was sitting on the saw that they cut their sticks with, like waiting for me to be done talking, looking around. And then once I said his name, he ripped the saw when I was on TV.
God.
And I went up to him post-game. I'm like, you knew.
How rude.
Oh, but he's so mischievous like that. Like and he knew, and it is completely all like fun and games. And I share this story because it's like, that is such a good example of like the kind of energy that is hard to capture when you just watch them play. Yes. So anyways, all of this is to say that I really focus on like, what kind of music sets the tone for this? What kind of language, what kind of storytelling themes are we incorporating in the writing of this piece? And we do a lot of that planning like in the summer, but anyway, so I'm super intentional about it, but I really try to focus on like the essence of the guy. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like everybody can see how many hits he has. Everybody can see how many goals he scores. But as the person that's in the locker room with them every single day, how do I get you to feel like you actually kind of get him and how he ticks a little bit?
For sure.
So that's what people want to know.
Yeah.
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 And I'm this role, you know, you're uniquely positioned to do that too.
Yes. So. Is he the type of guy too that when you're doing an interview in the locker room, he's ripping the tape off super slow and it's like the loudest thing in the world?
He would be, perhaps.
Just be like,
he's a little like jokester. He's a little jokester. He's always like, he'll walk by me and he'll just make a face at me. I'm like, what? But he's just like that. He's just like that, you know.
Is he the biggest prankster on the team?
I wouldn't even describe him even just as a prankster. He's just like more of a jokester. Yeah. You know, but we got lots of pranksters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of pranksters.
Is there any tea we can end with that's personal? Like, have you ever missed the bus or a flight or taken a tumble or anything that's like.
Carlyn missed a plane.
Yeah, I missed a plane. Oh yeah, a preseason, first ever since I've been doing this job, and I had to fly commercial.
Have you ever missed a bus?
Never missed a bus.
That's good.
Yeah, I've elected to take an Uber for other circumstances, but like never like it like been running and been like, no, where is it? Like, well, no, in Montreal. One time a few years ago, I was talking in the lobby with someone that was with us from sales, thinking they were also catching the bus, and they weren't. And we had gotten so caught up that I'm like, so you're going to catch the bus? And they're like, no, we're going to lunch. And I was like, what? And I had to Uber to practice.
So has missed a bus.
Yes.
Once. Okay.
Has missed a bus, but unintentionally while like innocently catching up with somebody thinking they're also getting on the bus. But no, is there anything that like you are like,
I have like one of the most embarrassing stories of my life.
Do tell.
Which I have not really shared with many people, but I think it's fun. And it was a couple years ago. It was in our second year. We were in Montreal. Speaking of Montreal, what's going on in Montreal?
We talk about it, I think, once a podcast.
Yeah. So Allison doesn't travel with us much anymore, but she was at the time. And she has a great podcast with Sarah Sivian and Shayna Goldman called Too Many Men.
We love
Hockey
Too Many
podcast.
Men.
We love Too Many Men. They were recording it that day after morning skate. And when Allison's on the road, we will often get lunch together. Just, one DoorDash order, one package of fines and fees that you have to pay for delivery. Yep. So we order some sushi, and she's like, okay, I have to record my podcast. Can I give you my room key? And you go downstairs and pick it up when it gets here, because she ordered it, and then just like scan in because I don't want you to knock on the door because I'm recording the podcast. And I'm like, sure. So food gets here. The elevator is like being super weird. So I take the stairs down. It's a very old hotel that we stay in. So I take the stairs down. I get the food. Go back up the stairs because her room key like would not scan, and it was super weird. I'm like, whatever. Go to her door, and I'm scanning the key. I'm scanning the key. It's not working. So I'm like, I don't want to, and I like call her, and she doesn't answer. And I'm like, well, she's recording her podcast. I'm like, I don't really want to knock because she's recording her podcast, but I'm just standing here and I don't know what to do. They're not gonna like make me a new key to get into her room.
Yeah.
So I just start like tapping on the door. A little, and I start knocking and knocking and knocking, and one of our players opens the door, and I have a bag of sushi, and I'm like, oh, I am so sorry.
I would scream.
I have never been so stressed. And he was sleeping because he was taking his freaking nap. This player is so nice. I don't necessarily want to. I really don't think he'd care.
You don't have to.
Keep it.
He is so nice. So he really did not care. He was super chill. In fact, he chirped me about it 3 days later, and he was like, so what'd you have? And I'm like, it was sushi. And now every time we go to Montreal, he always jokes that he's like, you're gonna have sushi for lunch again today? Like, he's still on our team. And but luckily we were also in the middle of an NHL record-setting win streak at the time, and then they went on and continued to win, and so like,
thank God,
the vibes were like peak.
Yes,
and when I finally got in Allison's room, so they
did she give you the wrong number, or like how did the mix-up happen?
The stairs, so I was on the wrong floor.
I was gonna
say
they stay on different floors than us.
Yeah,
so like that would never.
And
I'm like
in French.
Yeah,
but I mean numbers are numbers.
Been there.
Yeah. But this is why we stay on different floors. So they don't want Piper banging on the door, and be like DoorDash.
Oh my God! And so then once I got into Allison's room, I like bust in her room, and she's recording. I'm like, Sarah, Shayna, you're gonna want to keep rolling because you don't know what just happened. I was like, and I'm freaking out. It was like, they were like, are you serious? And I'm just pacing around the room. So they were all like virtually there for that. I was not right for multiple days. But like I said, luckily this part literally did not care at all. Or
That's
like he
so
really
great.
didn't care at all. And he thought
That's
it was
incredible.
funny, and we still talk about it. But
that's fantastic.
it's still
tea.
so traumatizing.
Yes. So much work goes into like
Don't take the stairs.
Like-
okay. Don't.
Noted.
When you think you're getting your steps in, don't take the stairs.
don't take the stairs. No. So much work goes into like making sure that like at the end of the day they are unbothered. Everything is like, all the boxes are checked.
And I'm just knocking on the door, scanning.
She made sure they were bothered.
Yeah.
Imagine him looking through the peephole too and be like, I better open
What
it.
are you doing here? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
Oh God.
But I've never missed a bus. I've never missed a plane. I've never had any of that. But I also have I got less hours in the league than you do, so hopefully I never do. But
Well, I've never checked that off my list.
Well,
so
hopefully you don't.
now I know I'm always going to check the floors. I'm always going to double check and make sure. Oh my gosh.
I busted in that room like, you guys are never gonna guess what I did. I was like, the worst possible thing.
Oh.
Amazing.
Well, Piper, this was so much fun. We have to have you back.
Yes.
And Kayla, you have to come to Disney in
Yes.
February.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Done.
Yeah, you're invited.
Yes, please
You're
do.
invited.
And we love coming to Seattle.
Yeah.
That was a fun
We'll have
time.
to
Yeah.
get you guys on our podcast. Our podcast is a little different in tone,
In-
but
into
it
the
would be
deep.
great to have you on.
Into the
Signals
deep.
from the deep.
Signals from the deep. I
Signals
almost
from
had
the
it.
deep.
I almost had it. Signals from
Ooh.
the deep.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, very fun.
Well,
Well,
thank you so much for having
Thank
me.
you for
This was
coming.
so much fun, you guys. I'm so glad that we can make this work.
teammates,
studio.
hope you enjoyed. We'll see you soon. Bye everybody.